You dropped a pepperoncini on the ice when you walked into the middle of the sheet to like.
I did do that.
A stone.
Yeah, I did do that. That's a true statement. That's a true statement.
Whoever was on the microphones couldn't tell who was shot rock, so you just walked onto the sheet with your sandwich, and then you dropped the pepperoncini right in the house.
I picked it up.
Welcome to Curling Nation Episode 9, Outdoor Curling to the Rescue. I'm Joel today, and we're always joined by Mike, Garrett, and Craig. And for this show, we got a sponsor. A real sponsor.
We have a real sponsor?
A real sponsor. They give us money and everything. Longtime curler, friend of the show, works for a company called Alchemy Technologies. They have a long history of sponsoring other curling events and other curling teams. So
okay,
right. we are welcome for their sponsorship. Alchemy is a technology solution provider for software development, enterprise computing, healthcare IT, big data, and AI analytics. Visit alchemy.com, alqimi.com. We're always welcome and appreciative of sponsors, but also ones that support other curling ventures as well. So,
absolutely,
that's great.
Yeah, if they're sponsoring things other than us, that's even better. I mean, who doesn't like making curling better?
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Today on the show, we've got an off-the-wall topic after the interview. It's kind of fun. We certainly had some fun with this, so stay tuned after the interview. But the interview, we're talking with Matt Aro, the architect of outdoor curling in Monona and the organizer of the Pandemicspiel 2021 that some of us played in and had some fun. And we won the third event, so
yes,
that's something. But right now, here's Matt.
All right, like Joel said, we have Matt Aro on the show today. He is the architect, literally and figuratively and literally, of the Hash Brown Monona Outdoor Curling Rink in the Monona, Wisconsin. Thanks for joining the show this week, Matt. How's it going?
Hey guys, how's it going?
That's great.
We're great.
Yeah. So the rink, how did it come about? Like, you know, it's outdoor ice. Like, you know, what prompted you to have some outdoor ice this year?
Well, you know, like a lot of curlers, it was just a bummer looking forward to the fall and knowing that there wasn't going to be any curling. It was evident that our club, the Madison Club, wasn't going to be open. And, you know, that's become a huge part of, you know, the winter season for me and a lot of people, you know, curling 3-4 days a week, you know, hanging out at the club.
It has. This is the first year. This is the first year that I haven't curled in over 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're hanging out with friends you don't necessarily see, you know, other times of the year. And for me, that was like staring into a black hole. And I'm like, you know what? We got to do something about this. And so it just hit me like, hey, let's make some outdoor ice. How hard could it be, right?
Right. And I was so glad you did, because my wife and I were talking about making ice in the backyard here. And the more and more I looked into it, I was like, do I really want to do this? I'm like, because we had talked about it, and then all of a sudden I saw your email go out to the club saying we're making outdoor ice. I'm like, yes, I'm in.
So did you you just walk out there and start putting stuff up, or what did how'd that go?
So I've known the Parks and Rec director in Monona for a while here. He Jake Anderson. He's been here for over a decade. He's just done some amazing things, and he's just a great guy and really enthusiastic. And so I just sent him a message one day. I said, "Hey Jake, what do you think about building a curling rink in a park in the city?" And he like within minutes wrote me back and said, "Sure, let's do it." So then I'm like, oh damn, I got to figure out how to do this.
So how'd you pick that spot? Like it's in if you look up on the map, it's in the north side of Winnequa Park in Monona, Wisconsin.
Yep.
But like that specific spot, like why that one?
Well, Jake's a really smart guy. He knows what you got to do some of this stuff. I mean, he's familiar with dealing with hockey ice, and he has another rink in Monona that he was working on getting ready and is now done. It's actually got coolant system for it too. They do skating on it. It's really small, but so he knew a lot about this stuff. And he's like, "Well, you're gonna need water," and I'm like, "Oh yeah." So there's 2 shelters in the park, and we were going to look at one and try to figure out how to winterize it, because none of these shelters were designed for, being open through the winter. So we started thinking about how we can heat the rooms and keep the water flowing. And ultimately we settled on the Dream Park location at Winnequa Park because 2 things. There's a lagoon there that's got a bunch of free water, which was a mistake, but we'll get back to that later. And then it's got the shelter there that we could, keep heated and use municipal water when we need to flood. So it was a logical location, and we had secure storage for stuff we needed. We had to figure out a bunch of things, and thanks to once I reached out to Craig about the stones, and he's like, "Yeah, I got some stones you can borrow," and I'm like, "Okay, awesome." So this could maybe work out.
Nice. Yeah.
And Jeff Sleesman, you reached out to him as well, our club ice guy.
That's right. Yeah. Jeff was real helpful with trying to figure out like how we do things, and there's so many volunteers that on the front end. I mean, Dave Peterson. I could name so many. Brian Witt, who's done this outdoor stuff as well. I mean, they were really helpful in kind of guiding me, giving me some advice, and actually just chipping in to figure it out. And ultimately, this stuff's, it's not that hard to do. It's just a lot of labor, and it's a lot of work and a lot of time.
Well, if anybody wants to check out, I did a time lapse of us making ice.
Yeah, that's on our YouTube channel.
It's up on the Curling Nation YouTube channel. So
yeah, it's pretty good. If we didn't have to pay for royalties, I suggested we put the Benny Hill theme on, but I don't want to pay that much. So,
hey Matt, where did all the funds to build? I mean, it takes some material cost, and I mean it's more than just labor cost. Where did the material cost come from?
Yeah, so we're kind of figuring out a budget on the front end. We're like, oh, maybe $15,000, $1,500 would make it work. Well, that was wrong. So I set up a GoFundMe site, and I sent out some messages to the club and other curlers, and just said, hey, we're looking to do this. And the Parks and Rec Department of Monona's on board with it, and I think that was key, because once you have the support of the municipality behind you, it kind of makes it legit, and I think people were comfortable at that point, kind of supporting it and going forward. So I think we raised $1,500 pretty quick on that site. I was surprised, and then some. We actually got more than that. The foundation kicked in some money, Madison Curling Foundation, little seed money there as well. And then a bunch of individual donors kicked in more above and beyond that. So that's how we funded it, and we were ready to buy materials in October and November and start building.
So when did this brainchild start? When did this like kick into your head? What month?
You said that October, when we weren't going to be able to curl.
Oh, that was actually, this was in summer. It was July.
Oh, really?
Like July.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Out to the city. It was midsummer. But yeah, so we were ready to go in November. We had to wait for things to cool down a bit. Before we started building it. Yeah.
If you had to put, I mean, if somebody, I mean, they're not going to do it this year, and God knows we all hope to be curling in actual curling clubs again soon. I mean, do you have a number? If somebody's like, yeah, we'll do this for an outdoor spiel or what? Like how much for 2 sheets Not taking into account, like, I mean, rocks are going to obviously drive your costs way up, but
you're going to need about $2,000, I think.
$2,000?
If you got to pay for water, you're going to need to account for that too. So
Probably
we did not have to pay for water, thankfully.
probably depends on the cost of lumber too a little bit. I mean, that's I would imagine your biggest cost, lumber, but
yeah, your
you know.
biggest costs are the lumber to make the boards, and assuming you're not building on a pond or in on a lake, which in this area is kind of sketchy to try. You're going to buy this like single piece plastic liner that is, in our case, was 130 feet by 35 feet wide. Single piece of plastic, and it was pretty expensive. Oh, like $400, $500 to get that.
Yeah, it's like a pond liner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Is it reusable? Can you use it again?
I doubt it. I'll just say maybe, but I doubt it.
I did see that there were, because the liner went, the boards went down. As you can see in the time lapse, the boards went down, and then the liner went up and over the boards. I did see that during there is some wear and tear on the vinyl sheeting. So I don't know if that can be repaired or not, or to reuse it. I don't know.
yeah, you could try. So you have your outdoor ice. You've got people using it. 3 of us played in the Pandemicspiel this weekend. 2 of us won the world championship in the 3rd event. One of us tried admirably in the 1st event. Fell woefully
I think
short.
our 3rd event gets us a spot in the Briar. I think so.
Nationals. We're a U.S. podcast. I don't think we get to go to the Briar.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to the Briar. I don't want to be in the bubble. But yeah, well, I guess the U.S. is probably going to be in a bubble too. But when did the go ahead?
Jeremy Rowe was saying, hey, you guys could get a paper club going here, and you could birth the team into the club nationals from the Monona
absolutely,
rink.
Absolutely. When did you
decide? Pay the dues, though.
When did you decide that the Pandemicspiel you were going to try and pull that off? I mean, I assume that's your baby too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I tried to pawn that baby off.
Surprising you didn't get a taker spot?
I don't know why no one wanted to take it on. I really tried hard because I've never done a bonspiel before. And,
right.
It kind of frightened me a little bit to try to think about all the things you had to do. I guess in some ways, not having food or prepared food at an event was a big relief, because I know that's a huge part of all the volunteer and work that's required.
Yes, it is.
So, yeah, so that made it a little bit simpler. You could just focus on ice and logistics and planning. But there's a lot of communication and hoping and praying that the weather works out.
Yeah.
I think Pandemicspiel is supposed to have their event this coming weekend, and I think it's probably going to be too warm and snowy based on the forecast. We got really lucky.
Dude, you got absolutely lucky. The weather was pretty close to perfect. I mean, it was a little chilly on Saturday morning for that 8 o'clock draw, but by like the 9:15, the sun was out. It was warming up. There was no wind. It could have been just a bear if there was any wind. Like it was pretty lucky. It was pretty nice.
And you hit that perfect window right before the big snow that we just got. So
yeah.
I just looked at the sheet, and it's not magically cleared off because it's supposed to be a game.
If you're listening to the podcast,
I didn't show up. I didn't show up at 7 o'clock and start in the morning and start shoveling it, Matt. Like on Sunday.
You did good.
You shoveled on Sunday, Brownie?
Oh man, I was down. I thought Matt and I can't remember who else. Peter said were trying to convince me to come and shovel, and I said, "Well, I'll see. I might make it. I might not." And I was pretty sure that you guys said 7 o'clock. Maybe you said 7:30, but I couldn't sleep very well. I think I must have been too nervous, like getting ready for the big final,
Right.
or perhaps I had a little overserved and like the headache woke me up early or something. But no, so like I'm laying in bed at like 6:30 in the morning. I'm like, oh, I can't get back to sleep. I might as well just go and frickin' shovel. So I get down there at like 5 after 7. Nobody's there yet. I'm like, okay, no big deal. I'll just start. And I'm cool with just starting, but all of a sudden I'm completely done with one entire sheet of ice, and there's still nobody else there. And then I'm starting to think, like, this is bullshit.
You got played. You got played, Brownie.
I got played is what I was thinking, but no, it was fine. It was light snow, and there was only 3 inches or whatever on Sunday, so it wasn't like shoveling 8 or whatever we got today.
Nice.
Crazy. Hey Matt, tell us a bit about the schedule. Like, how many teams were there? How'd you do this draw schedule? How'd you set that all up?
So it was a 16-team, 3-game guarantee setup with 4 events. Kind of traditional setup.
You filled it in like a day, didn't you?
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
It was quick. I was surprised how fast. And then
we're degenerates.
It
was like, oh, there's curling? How much? I'll play.
Yeah. I think people like the structured events, and we've had this sort of open times for the ice, and there's only been a handful of people that have picked up on that and done either pickup games or, kind of organized their own game. I think people kind of like the structure, and it's easier for them to plug into that. So, but I mean, this is also a one-of-a-kind event. We may never do this again in our lifetime.
What was the entry fee?
$50 and
$12,000. $12,000.
Yeah.
Yep. You probably could have charged. 10 times that. You could have charged $500 a team, and everybody'd been like, "Well, yeah, sure, why not?"
Yeah.
It's curling.
Maybe not 500.
Maybe not 500, but yeah. No, I get it. I thought you did a great job, man.
You're not getting the lobster and the
my God.
the shrimp and the
brisket,
the clams or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I thought you did a great job. You got a good logo. If I don't know. We can probably throw that up. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Say something so we make sure you're on the camera.
I can.
But yeah, so you got a good logo. You had fire pits out, a lot of them, and some teams even brought them, so everybody was kind of spaced out.
Someone brought an ice shanty down?
Yeah, somebody had their ice fishing shanty, which you didn't really need. It wasn't that bad.
No.
The sun made it. The sun made it. Like, it was sunny. It would have been a drag if it wasn't sunny.
You brought down a lot of wood?
I did. I brought a lot of wood, but I think Matt had gotten a lot. I don't know if it's from the city or something. Like, I mean, the fire pits were never short a log to stoke the fire.
McDermott brought the wood.
Yeah, I'd say that's what she said, but nobody says that. So,
yeah.
What? I mean, you didn't have food, but people kind of knew. You kind of told people that you weren't going to have it. Joel was nice enough to set up the web stream, which kind of made it fun. We kind of set up out there, and we were commenting on the games and just talking to people. I think that made it cool. There was some good. I like to say there was some good juice going on Saturday. Sunday was still fun, but there weren't as many people.
Yeah, it was a little quieter. I think everyone was just showing up and taking off. After the games,
there could have been some people that were hungover.
A little.
Well, and there was a pack.
I was a little hungover.
I was a lot hungover.
I was a bit hungover too. Yeah. And also just not being in bonspiel shape, because we play with sticks I mean, the games were only 4 ends. We played.
Yeah.
We played 3 games.
We played
Saturday.
No, 2.
2.
We played at 10.
Yeah, two
10:30
Saturday
and 4:45.
We played 2 games, a grand total of 8 ends that day. We're throwing with our brooms. We're not even sliding. We're not even sweeping, and I'm sore at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It also could have been like we were there getting wood and getting set up with the streaming.
You were there at 8, and I was there shortly thereafter to drop off my trailer.
Yeah.
And then I helped you a bit, went home. But I kind of stood at the back, and we either were curling or I was probably bogarting the microphone. But just trying to add some audio to the weekend.
Bottom line is we are not in bonspiel shape.
No.
We're gonna have to start working out if we're gonna start bonspieling again next season.
Would you do it again, Matt? Would you set it up again?
Yeah, if we had to go through this again, another year of this isolation,
let's just say
I'd do one every weekend just because it'd be fun.
Yeah.
I'd find somebody to help me with it, but yeah.
Right. Well, being a bonspiel organizer myself, like the second year is always 100% easier than the first year.
Makes sense.
But would you set up like say hopefully we can curl in our own club next year? Would you set this up again outside just for fun?
I don't know. Maybe it's a lot to think about. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. How much how
Well,
much time goes in? Go ahead, Craig or Garrett. Sorry.
I would think that the setting up of the sheet itself is maybe not worth it for if we're curling in our normal club. But
yeah,
I could see a group of people who were involved in it this year getting convinced to do it out on the pond if you could get permission and the weather was accommodating enough. You could maybe do it out on the pond and get it roped off enough that we could flood it and get it smooth enough to curl out there.
I have a
Because then
pond
you're not dealing.
in my backyard.
Is it something that possibly you're working through Monona Parks, that it creates more exposure? Is that something that Mr. Anderson was excited? Did he come down? The guy from Parks, did he come on down?
Yeah, he did. And Jake was actually pretty thrilled to see how well it's gone for us. And he's thinking he might abandon like maintenance of the lagoon now for hockey and build a land rink. If there is a land rink for hockey, then it's probably not any different than doing like arena ice outdoor style.
Yeah, just put a few lines out there for curling, and we can go outside one weekend or two weekends a year, whatever it is.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. That'd be real easy to do that. Although the line work is a whole nother issue. Oh my, we had a lot of problems with that, and a lot of it has to do with anything darker colored just soaks up the sun and it eats.
Sure.
It eats. I don't even know where the water goes. It disappears and it goes down these holes into some void.
I did notice the first time we cut the holes in and put it in the green. We put in the green paint when I came back to curl on it. Like the green had like filtered out and like disappeared almost.
Yeah, it was like it leached all weekend. Yeah, it was weird. It bled.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 days before the bonspiel, we were freaking out. Thursday,
it did get pretty warm.
It was really warm. This perfectly clear day, and the sun's a little higher now than it was back in December. So it's just those lines in the house that we had just cut on Tuesday and painted were basically gone and open to the air. And these channels were open again, and they were actually eating down. And we were pouring gallons of water into some of these channels, and they were just running into these voids under the ice. We don't even know where the water went, honestly.
So the paint was heating up and just like going down into the ice.
Yeah, just kind of eating its way down through. Yeah,
That's weird.
like the acid in the Alien movie. If you guys ever seen that?
Yeah, that is super weird.
So you painted everything. You painted everything. You didn't use the standard like rollout sheets.
No, we did not paint everything, and this kind of goes back to the discussion of pond water when we started the floods. We got a bunch of free water from the lagoon. Well, you get what you pay for. Let me put it that way.
Did you have algae in there?
Well, there's a lot of suspended solids, a lot of
It was
photosynthetic critters. I don't know.
It was really
green and
light brown when we
decolored,
first pumped in it. It looked like a pilsner almost, or like a light amber.
How much longer do you think you'll keep it up? Do the maintenance on it this year?
As long as the weather's good, I think it's pretty easy to get the ice back in the curling surface back in shape. I don't know how much we'll spend on the line work anymore.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit of work. Although Greg Silver, who's one of our members, a newer member of the club, that guy was amazing. He like cut the circles with a router. He made a template or a jig that could cut all these circles perfectly, and built a rock box for us. And he even helped us find the place in the field that was the most level. So he built the benches too. I mean, just so good. He said he'd be willing to cut the houses some more, and as long as the weather's good, we'll keep it up probably till mid February, I'm guessing.
How many? You named some of the volunteers. How many people do you think came together and kind of put the whole thing together for you? Or not for you, but for anybody.
It's got to be topping 40 people at this point, and at various stages. And we still got more to do. Like we got a Learn to Curl coming up this Saturday. Nice. We're gonna be bringing in, a group of adults and a group of like 10 to 17-year-olds.
Cool.
So kind of exposing people to the game, and it's a little thank you, for Monona allowing us to use the park, and I'm all about growing the sport that I've come to love, and I think this is great way to do it.
Did you reach out to the high schools or to see if they can come on down too?
Yeah, I mean, so my son Logan, who's 17, goes to Monona Grove High School, and before the pandemic, he actually had gotten quite a bit of traction on getting a high school team potentially together to compete for the first time through our club. And of course, that all just got kiboshed. And so he's bringing some people over on tomorrow night to get them on the ice, and he's kind of got the wheels turning again about maybe doing that. He actually had a coach from the school that was on board with sponsoring it too. So maybe that'll all come back around again. Cool. We'll see.
Cool. So go ahead, Bronny.
What do you think was the biggest surprise in the whole process of putting in this outdoor rink, good or bad?
I think that there's just so much I didn't know about making ice and for curling. It was surprising to me how much depth there is, how much nuance there is in how you do it. I mean, even the composition of the water makes a huge difference. And using municipal water like we have around here is really hard water. It's got a lot of solids in it and dissolved solids. And I think after curling on that, I looked at my brush, I looked at my shoes, and it was just covered with like calcium and other stuff after it had melted and evaporated away. So no doubt that affects the quality of the ice. And we started looking at other options, so filtering water, getting an inline filter for the hose, and then trying to use distilled water for pebbling. It seemed to make a big difference for how the ice acted. I mean, we were doing short games. The first game we played on the ice was fun but pathetic. It was maybe half a sheet, if that. And most people could barely get it over the hog line, and it wasn't even 10 feet away. So I think we learned a lot in a very short time. It was surprising to me to learn how much depth there is to that whole art of making ice.
Yeah, we learned pretty quick that the ice was slow.
Yep.
My pants were really thick because I was wearing a lot of layers. First time I was out, yeah. And we just did Mary Broman style the entire weekend.
Yeah, I was surprised.
It was easy.
I was surprised with the Pandemicspiel, the number of teams that were like sliding and trying to sweep. I think sweeping might have made 6 inches worth of difference, if even that. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when it was 16, 18 second ice, and it was. I mean, Sunday was super greasy. Like, there's no way you could keep up with much of anything. But we just sticked it.
I was amused by all the teams still trying to sweep.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Still calling sweep like it matters. Like it matters.
Talk about that. I want to know about that. Is there a technical reason you said, or just for a safety issue?
Safety issue.
With your brother, for sure.
With our team, we didn't want a lot of people moving around. Sunday was a little greasy.
Yeah. I think it was.
And you had to throw it so hard that you had to pretty much sprint to keep up with it to start, and then hopefully it'll come down. But with the ice being that slow, it's just not that effective.
Yeah, I think it was a fun spiel,
say,
and we were having fun.
Yes,
and so we were just. I mean, when you go to a spiel and you're like. You're playing in the 7 o'clock Saturday draw, and you're like, yeah, no skip, no sweep, because we don't feel like it.
Yep.
And that was kind of, we had to skip because Joel was reading the heaves and the negatives and the falling off the walls, but it was just like, we don't want to get hurt. This is the only time we're gonna curl. Like, we'll have some fun. We'll throw it with the broom, and I think we did all right. I think we scored 3 5-enders.
3 5-enders, a 4-ender.
A 4-ender. Couple of 1s and 2s.
Yeah.
We're pretty good.
And we won the third event, so. Yeah.
Third event world championship.
For our one listener, so when you say it's slow, guys, because I didn't plan.
Yeah.
So kind of describe, was there fall? How hard did you have to
there was a fall.
How kind of talk about the ice a little bit.
Greg could probably tell you how hard you had to throw it to get it to the tee line, but it was probably like Peel Plus to get it to the tee.
Some of the time it was Peel Plus to get it down there. There were other games where it was just like normal or firm.
Yeah, I agree.
Normal.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell how hard I was throwing it with the broom.
you.
Yeah.
I mean, Peel's a peel.
Yeah, I mean, I can.
Firm's a firm.
Like, I can throw the rock pretty damn hard, and there was a couple of shots. There's definitely spots out there where it would have been hard for me to make a takeout. It was that slow. Like I never tried one that I didn't have enough weight for. But I threw some draws in some spots that were slow enough. I'm not sure I could have made a takeout if I was trying to make one in that spot.
I mean,
but if we played in the snow on Saturday night, which was kind of that game. that game you needed to, like, sweeping helped in that game. I think most of the time it didn't help much of anything, and it really probably just increased your chances of getting hurt. But if you could get a broom in front of the rock to clean the snow off, you could make it go a lot farther. Like, it just wouldn't slam on the brakes.
How
Like,
much handle were you throwing? How much handle?
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
Those
Quite a
those
bit.
modern club brooms though, those weren't doing a thing. You had to have like a hairbrush, or you had a corn broom, I think, out there at that point.
I used a corn broom for a couple of games. First, I only actually swept it like probably for a grand total of about 30 feet worth of length over the course of 2 games. But there was once where I'd swept and, like, you know, people could hear it. And I think that was probably the first time about half the people who were there had ever seen a corn broom, like, in use. Like, maybe they'd seen a picture of them or something like that, but they'd probably never actually seen one.
How good are you
Not like
at
I'm a very good corn broom sweeper.
How good are you at swinging corn?
Not very. I mean, I look like I know what I'm doing, but, you know, in reality, you know, I can probably do it at a mediocre level for about 8 feet, and then
Then you're
I
exhausted?
get tired. Yeah, pretty much. So, I mean, you know, I'd swept a couple rocks, but not really. It's mostly just for the hell of it, and I was kind of using it to clear snow off of the. It did work really well for cleaning snow out of the hack.
There you go.
Before I had to shoot.
Yeah.
So
Where'd the hacks come from? Who got the hacks?
Steve's
Those
curling
came
supplies.
from Steve's Curling also, and they were the. Go ahead, Craig. Talk about them.
There's some freeze-in hacks. They work. We sell a lot of them to arena curling clubs.
Marco hacks.
So Marco's the rubber. That's kind of the same rubber that all the clubs use pretty much. And then the metal plate itself is made by a guy out in Utah named Ian Houghton. He makes doubles, so that looks like a normal hack with, you know, a left and a right. And he also makes these singles, and that's what we used. Where it's just one piece of metal that the rubber hack mounts to. As long as you have it warm, it doesn't even have to be hot. You just got to have it warm. Then you set it on the ice and, you know, stick a rock on it, and it melts itself down 1/4 inch. And based on the holes in it, it generally holds pretty well. I mean, every once in a while they'll pop out.
Yeah, I think the first couple of games the first game on Saturday morning, the hacks blew out a few times because with the ice being so slow, you had to kick out pretty hard.
Well, I think, you had to kick out hard, and I think it was just cold and brittle. I mean, it's just so cold that the ice just gets brittle at that temperature, I think. But we got them back in. We heat them up. I had a blowtorch out there. We heat them up with the blowtorch, and like Craig said, threw a rock on top of them, and they seem to be fine for.
Some people put them in the fire
the rest of the day.
Some people put them in the fire for a little bit.
Yeah. Some good fire pits going.
So, Matt, it you know, coming at this, it sounds like you've been curling for like eons. I don't think that's the case here. Tell us a little bit about your curling history and how you got into it, and how long you've been curling.
So I've been curling for about 6 years, and interestingly, I got exposed to it through a couple sources. One of my business partners, a member of the club, Doug Powell's a curler. He'd been doing that for quite a while. He talked about these bonspiels. I didn't know what he was talking about. I'm like, what is that, a meat roast? I had no idea. And then I was out and visited a friend out in Cape Cod, and Dana Gerlach, a college friend, good friend, and she and her family had been involved in the Cape Cod Curling Club, and the first place they took me when I arrived there was the Cape Cod Curling Club, because they were in July, they were having their summer spiel. And I was like, this looks like a lot of fun. Something's telling me I need to get involved with this sport. So I came back and looked up Madison Club and got my son Logan interested in it, who was, I don't know, pretty young at the time. And so we went to the Learn to Curls, and ended up Logan signed up as a junior member. Came to the Sunday events for the well, I guess not Little Rock, or some clubs call it that, but the Sunday juniors. And I didn't join that year. I held back, but Logan ended up getting involved with a bunch of other juniors and going to a bunch of junior bonspiels that year, with Mary Parker coaching them. So I was behind the glass watching these kids play this game and listening to Mary and all the other parents and coaches are, talking about the game and the strategy. And I learned a lot about the game just watching it.
I wouldn't say you learned a lot about the game from listening to parents.
I've been in that part of the glass, and that's when I learned the importance of noise canceling headphones.
I did web stream for junior nationals at Madison, and I didn't learn anything.
But we might be in a different group.
We're in
a different group than
call a spade a spade.
Than a new curling parent coming in. But we're glad you got the appreciation for it. Yeah.
But we digress.
That's cool.
You just got to tune that stuff out, just put the blinders on,
whatever. Noise canceling headphones.
Yeah. All right. So Matt, I got a couple questions for you. We figured out how you started. What is, besides Madison, which is the only club and the Monona outdoor rink, now the only clubs you've considered your home clubs, what's your favorite club you've ever been to?
I would say there's a couple, but I really like what they did in Chaska. It does have some drawbacks that I think can be easily remedied in a future Madison Curling Club. But they got great ice. I mean, they got Scott Belvich. I mean, how can
he's a
you go
decent
wrong
ice
when
maker.
They got that guy. And they got the Crooked Pint with the restaurant there, like looking over the ice. They've got the public coming in. That whole public side of it exposes people to the sport and generates interest. The one thing it lacks, though, is it doesn't have a club feel. Right. And I think that if they could have structured or designed it a little bit differently, particularly on the other side of the house, of the ice house from the Crooked Pint, you could have had a club side to this facility. You could have kind of hit them both, and the same with Blaine. I mean, Blaine kind of has that set up too, but you're really just missing that club feel. And I think if you can combine those two things, you can make a stellar facility. But I really like what they've done there. And they got a lot of support for that, a lot of money put in that facility. And cool. It's a palace. So.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I've often, when you go to enough bonspiels, you run out of things to talk about in the car. And so you have the conversation about building the Dream Club. And that's been the public and private sector of the club has been something that I've argued about in my discussion on the Dream Club, is essentially put a club room at each end. One of them's just for the normal members, and then you get the feel like you would in a normal curling club, and the other one would be something like Chaska, where you have the restaurant that's totally open to the public all the time, so they can see it, and there's windows and glass and everything else. But All right. What if you were going to a bonspiel? Any bonspiel, could be any level, fun spiel, competitive spiel, summer spiel, whatever. Who's your team? They
You can take-
be
you can
dead
take
or
anybody.
alive or curlers or not curlers.
Also, previous show guests have taken up to 6 members on a team.
Mhm.
So if you feel like you need a bartender or a fifth, because you know
Or a
somebody's going
driver.
over. Yeah, or a
Mhm.
driver.
Or
Yeah,
driver.
whatever. Yeah. Who are you taking, man?
Well, I have 2 answers for that. One is because it's where I'm at as a dad right now. Curling with my son is just gold right now. I love it. He's around for another year and then off to college, and that might be it. I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to curl much with him after that. So that's fun. That's a different kind of feel than you get with people who are of age. So. I honestly, I have to tell you, I'm a Scott Belvich fan. I think it'd be fun to hang out with him, and I don't know what he's like in real life, but he seems
a
like
riot.
a pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, he was just on our previous episode, so check it out. You can hear what Scott's all about.
Sure. Yeah. Now that I know a little bit about ice making, I can impress him with all my knowledge. Right.
I doubt
Maybe
it. Good luck.
our last episode, we were having a 5-man team, and this was the 5-man team. Maybe you could be our 6th man. So.
No.
Awesome.
So, because then he dumped us for Barkley and Kevin McHale and Larry Bird.
Yeah,
Which is a good team.
it was a good team.
All right, so you got 2 teams. You want 2 teams? You want to answer this question twice? You're going with your kid, and then are you going to take anybody with your kid?
I was just.
Or are you
talking
just gonna
about
play like a double
yeah,
spiel?
I don't know that I have a full team. I mean,
Okay.
that's a.
I mean, you can take anybody living, dead, really good, really bad. Like you don't want to curl with, you don't want to curl with Kmart, or you don't want to curl with.
Frank Lloyd Wright, or
Yeah.
I don't want any of those prima donnas, None of those.
Yeah. Me neither.
yeah.
They just be talking about themselves the whole time.
Agreed.
So you don't want to curl with Hamilton,
I think
is
you
what you're
could-
saying. Yeah.
I
Okay.
want to just go with some dude from some small town as a plumber.
Nice.
Someone
like it.
Just-
curling in jeans.
just-
I like it.
Find me a friendly plumber, and I'm in. So
That's cool.
one thing I was gonna
That's a good
say
answer.
about playing with Logan, though, is you said you don't know how much you'll be able to play with him after he goes off to school, and I think you can answer that question by how much school you're paying for. The more school you pay for, the more bonspiels he will play with you when you just kind of remind him of them, the bills. So
Yeah, I think I did an internet search, and I was like, okay, what are all the colleges that have curling programs? And I think I printed out the list one day. I just put it on his desk. It was a good start.
That is a good start.
And he is going to be of age at some point in time, so that's going to be that'll be fun.
Yeah.
That's funny because that's the exact reason that I ended up in Madison was I was looking for a curling club and a college.
Nice. Does he?
we got them both.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Perfect. All right.
Well, hey Matt, thank you very much for being on. We appreciate it. Thanks for the thanks for all the hard work with the outdoor curling and the spiel this weekend.
It was really a lot of fun.
It's not the same as curling, and I think we all realize it's not the same as normal curling, I should say. And we all realize that, but it's nice to have in these strange times a little bit of a sense of the curling community, even if it's kind of few and far between and weird because you are not actually like sitting around a table chit-chatting with people and shaking hands, but it's something. So
Yeah.
thanks for that. And I think there's a lot of people in town that agree with that, that are getting out, even if they only get out once or twice. It's good. So thanks very much.
Felt good to, bring a little happiness in this really weird, fucked up time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know we're not trying to kick you off, but I was pretty down in the dumps, and I told several people that I was rejuvenated this weekend. It was amazing how much just a little curling and a few fist bumps and just hanging around with some people that you haven't seen for a while brings a guy back. Joel said to me, he's like, I haven't had that much fun in months.
Yep.
So
It's been months.
it was.
Plus, Joel even got married this summer, and he still hasn't even had that much fun.
That was fun. That was a different kind of fun.
Don't worry about it. You said Marissa doesn't listen to the show anyways, so we can say whatever we want.
Yep.
All right, Matt. Well, thanks for coming on. I'm sure we'll talk to you soon, or whatever.
Cheers. At some point.
Thanks. Cheers, buddy. Oh yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, man. All right. Well, that was a great interview with Matt Aro from the Hash Brown Monona Outdoor Curling and the Pandemicspiel, which I've said it a million times the last 2.5 days. We had fun, but
how did the hash brown get named? How did the hash brown get named?
Okay, look, it's all the cool kids say hashtag, but I don't like hashtags, so I call it hash brown. Hash brown.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. It's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Kinda.
I think kinda is underselling it.
Kinda's
I think
underselling
it's really
it
stupid,
a lot.
But I'm gonna keep.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with it.
I mean, it's not really that funny.
No.
And I mean, it's stupid to say hashtag this and hashtag that too, like the kids do.
Yeah.
Kids.
Right.
But saying hash brown is equally. It's even dumber.
Yeah.
What would you have called it?
So am I. No.
I would have just called it the bonspiel.
Well,
I wouldn't, the Monona Pandemicspiel.
Okay, look. The only reason I'm saying hashtag hash brown Monona outdoor curling is like everything that when Matt first started the club, anytime somebody would put something on social media about it, he would comment. He's like hashtag Monona outdoor curling. Like I think he was just trying to get it out there. He was just, I don't know. It's just his thing. We could have asked him about it, but I'm not that smart. So.
Well,
That's why I keep
hash browns. Every time you said hash brown, I'm thinking like it's a breakfast meal. Like I'm hungry, so I want to have some eggs with it.
I mean, I'm always hungry, but yeah. So no.
I do like hash browns.
Mm-hmm.
Hash
I
browns
do
are
miss
good.
that.
Okay. Hash browns, so we can have a topic on another show. I have a dumb topic that we can talk about for a couple of minutes.
I miss hash browns.
Because why not? I love hash browns. Like
with Joel's bacon.
A little bit of cheese, a little bit of onions. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I like hash browns. So you put a little white sausage gravy on those.
Oh, the ones with
That's what I'm talking
the hash browns from Toby's.
Oh yeah, those are pretty good too. All right.
No.
Toby's
Homemade
is
hash
get
brown.
out of here. Toby's is a supper club here in
Toby's Supper
Madison.
Club.
If you've
It's
never
really
eaten
good.
there, you should. And if you're coming to Madison, good luck because it's like an hour and a half wait if you ever go there to eat. But it's probably
But you can get a lot of
go.
good
Okay,
old-fashions.
first you go and you have 4 old fashions by the time, and then your food's ready, and then you have 2 more with your food. So
Or
plan on getting an
Then you
Uber.
can't walk.
Plan on getting an Uber. Anyway. All right.
Okay.
Here's my stupid topic. We like sports. Well, I do. I don't know about the rest of these guys. I like baseball. Brownie, you like baseball.
love
R.I.P.
it.
R.I.P. Hank Aaron. Probably one of the coolest guys in the room. Never met the guy. Never saw him play, but seemed like the
Best
dude.
ball player that ever walked. So
Well, all right. So, what if curling had walk-up music? When you come up to bat, at the baseball game, and you got your walk-up music behind it. If you guys could have a walk-up song, I don't even know when you play it in curling, this is why it's so dumb. I mean, Nah, it can't even be like when you come out to start a game because you got to throw your rocks. But if curling had walk-up music, do you guys have a walk-up song in your mind? I know I have a couple, but I don't. I mean, I'll go first.
I got
if
a
you want,
couple.
but somebody's got to have a walk-up song.
It's not for your team. It's you individually.
No,
right?
individually.
It's individual.
It's gotta be individual.
Yeah.
Like you're getting ready
It's
to
yours.
throw, your first or your second, even if you're the lead, the lowly lead. Which I mean, I like being lead, but if you're the lowly lead, you still get a walk-up
They're
song.
not lowly. The
I mean,
lead
even
never
they
goes.
let like the number 8 hitter have a walk-up song, and he stinks. Or they let a pitcher have a walk-up song if you're, National League in it. So if you have a walk-up song, what are you gonna pick? I mean, somebody has to have thought of this. Okay, I'll go first because I introduced this stupid thing. One of my walk-up songs, like hype, throwing something, I'm going 90s hip hop. The LL Cool J himself, Mama Said Knock You Out. Great walk-up song.
If you're throwing a hit or just like whenever you
No,
come up?
just
coming out?
like it's the key point in the game. I need to get hype. I need to make sure I hit the stick, which probably never happens. Mama Said Knock You Out.
That's a good
LL
choice.
Cool J.
That's a good choice. I like that.
Well,
I think that's a good choice, but I think that should only be for takeouts.
correct.
I don't know. It's just a hype. I mean, maybe
So-
just for takeouts. I didn't want to pigeonhole myself.
It's an amped up song though. Like it's a good one. I think.
Yeah? Like I got to throw a peel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're not throwing that for the tick if I'm playing lead.
Yeah. It's Mama Said Knock You
I
Out.
probably got to be throwing that when I'm down, too.
It's
Just
not.
don't call it a comeback.
It's Mama Said Knock You Out. Not Mama gonna tick you over the sideboards.
Mama gonna throw a come around draw to the 8-foot.
Bitch.
I've been sweeping for years.
I didn't think about it that hard. I mean, but I just feel like that's a good walk-up song.
Because you have
Yeah,
to, you
that's
have
a good
to
one,
think
though.
about every situation. So
Oh,
I
trust
mean,
me, I
when-
have more than one. All right, I have more
I
than one.
understand.
More than one.
So are we saying you have to give the situation in which the walk up is going to come?
No, do
Or
whatever
are
you
you
want.
saying,
Mm-hmm.
or are you saying this is my walk up song every time I come up to play?
No, absolutely not every time I come up because I've got all kinds of them. But I'm just saying, like, if I had one in some situations, I mean, I bet there are Major League Baseball players who have multiple songs over the course of the season.
All right,
it's like-
so
Okay, you go. Craig.
I have investigated this or paid attention to this a little bit, and because I went to one summer I lived out in Denver. Well, 2 summers I lived out in Denver, but one of those summers, I went to like 20, 25 ball games.
Okay.
I lived like a mile from Coors Field.
That's a good
and-
sample size.
There was a couple of guys who seemed like they had like a bunch of songs that they used. Now, I can't remember for sure. I don't feel like it was always one song per night for all of them. Most of the guys, it was only one song per night, and a lot of them seemed like they kept that same song like all the time, like all season.
Okay.
Maybe they'd mix it up if they were in a slump or something like that. But I have always been of the impression that you should have like this huge rotation of walk-up songs, depending on the mood and like the situation. Like maybe you can go over these situations with the person who's playing the music. But I mean, like if you're throwing a takeout, Mama Said Knock You Out seems like a good song. If it's like, I think even in the middle of the game versus the beginning versus the end, you might need some different songs depending on your mood.
Yeah, I hear you.
But and here's the other thing is the walk up song to announce you,
Yeah.
or is the walk-up song to like get you jazzed up to throw the shot?
Yes.
Yeah, both.
Both.
Sure.
Both.
Both?
It's both.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, somebody else has to go. Because, I mean,
Well,
I got other
I'm gonna
songs.
go. I'm
Go.
gonna go
Go.
because when I first heard this topic, I was like, okay, 2 songs that I'd like to walk up to, and it's like when I'm coming out in the rink, I'm gonna like you're meeting me for the first time because I'm a no name. So there's 2, and it'd be the bells ringing, boom, boom.
AC/DC.
Hell's Bells would be the first one. Hell's
Oh.
Bells, AC.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Akadaka for our Australian listeners.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then just because I'm a nutty ass bastard, it's gonna be Peace Frog from The Doors. I'm gonna dun 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 dun. You guys know this song?
Interesting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
That's
it's like,
kind of a fun song.
yeah, it's like I'm gonna sweep that way. I'm gonna play that way. I'm gonna throw stones that way. I'm gonna be my teammate that way. That's me in entirety of curling. Is I'm a Peace Frog, and I'm
Like
gonna
it.
chatter. I'm
I
gonna
like
talk.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right.
I'm gonna comment. First of all, I like Peace Frog. You're kind of thinking outside of the box.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, kind of a weird song, but that's cool. I'm totally cool with creative weird songs as your choice here. I feel like Hell's Bells is a little too slow to develop. Like, because you can't do the full like 60 seconds of dong, that leads into that song.
So my premise on that is the team's walking out. The team is walking out and they're hearing this. Boom.
But it's your walk.
Oh.
It's got to
But
be your walk-up song. It's not like
I know.
it's not like Team
And so that's
Perry's coming out.
not right.
And don't get me wrong, I liked. Didn't who was it? Was it Troy Percival that came out to Hell's Bells? There was there was a closer that came out to Hell's Bells, and the bells started. But when you're coming out of the bullpen, you got to walk out, and then you got his warm-up pitches, and like it worked. I don't know. I don't say I hate it. It's interesting. It's an interesting choice.
Yeah. If I'm a relief pitcher, if I'm a closer,
Yeah.
I'm coming out to shut them down by Public Enemy.
Whoa! There's my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
90s R&B, 90s rap.
I like that.
I like that a lot.
Okay, so
Like it a lot.
here's the thing.
Is that when you're throwing the peel to like run them out of rocks? That's what you're.
No, actually, I'm really just talking about if I'm a baseball closer.
I got it. Got it. Okay.
But
Like,
but
if
here's
I'm curling, I don't think that's my song.
Go. Okay.
but here's the deal.
Mhm.
Is so y'all are talking about a little bit more lyric based,
Okay.
and I'm talking about music based like that.
I don't.
Sure.
Yeah.
Music
okay.
that sound that's coming
Instrument based, not necessarily
Instrument.
music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more instrument
based.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
Mhm.
yeah.
All right. You got one, Brownie? You got a walkout song if you're
I don't know. Like,
if you're throwing to freeze to like ice somebody, get yourself out of the pickle or something. I don't know. You got one?
well, I don't know if I have one specifically for the freeze, but
Okay.
I'm looking at my little notes here. I made a list of some, and I can't narrow it down.
Okay.
So I think we're gonna have to revisit this topic another day,
Okay. All right.
another show, and maybe we can add this to the questions that we asked people if they had a walk-up song.
Ooh, I like
Nice.
that. That's
I like
a great
it.
idea.
The one I'm gonna say today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with "Hard to Handle"
Oh.
but
Oh.
I'm going
The
with
Black
Otis
Crows.
Redding.
Oh, the Otis Redding.
Otis
With
Redding.
Black Crows.
Really?
Not the Black Crows. Oh.
Not the
Well, I love both of the songs. I
Yeah.
love both versions, but because I think it's a little bit more obscure,
Got
I'm
it.
going with Otis
Mhm.
Redding's version. Not to mention, Otis, rest his soul,
R.I.P.
died in a plane crash. He basically flew over my house about 3/4 of a mile before his plane crashed into the lake.
Mhm.
So
Wow. You're getting deep with that. I like
I'm getting deep
That's,
with it, but no, I like
It's interesting.
that. I don't know what you call that. That riff or that bass line or whatever. Like,
All right, yeah.
and plus the
Yeah,
lyrics
yeah.
are good too.
Mhm.
Like it's a good kind of here I am, buddy. Like
Yeah.
you're
No, I like that. I
Mhm.
like that one. I like to sing that song at karaoke as well, but that's beside the point.
So I got a couple of options for
Okay.
for myself.
All
Like,
right.
I'm going into a serious spiel. I'm probably gonna play "Why Can't We Be Friends" by Smash Mouth. Just to fucking There you go.
We be friends.
Friends.
Why
No,
can't
Can
we?
we be
Wait, but
Yeah.
he said.
But he said by Smash Mouth,
By Smash Mouth.
which is like the worst version ever.
Not the
I
old
know.
school.
I
Oh,
know.
I don't know that. I don't know the Smash Mouth version. I guess.
Yeah.
It's probably worse.
Oh
It's
god,
just awful.
it's terrible. Yeah, it's terrible. Just to piss him off, you know, just to piss him off. Otherwise, I'm going possibly Big Papa by Biggie,
Little Notorious
Yeah.
B.I.G.
or if
Well, we're a lot of rest in peace today.
yeah,
Oof.
or you know, my other pick was Run the Jewels, Panther Like a Panther.
Oh.
I don't know that
I
song.
do like Run the
Yours-
Jewels. It's pretty dope.
It's a good song.
Yeah, Run the Jewels,
Yeah.
real underrated.
Yeah,
Real
I'm gonna write
underrated.
that down.
yeah. Look up Run the Jewels 3. I think that's their
Yeah.
that's
Run the
their
Jewels 3.
that's
or,
their best album, I think.
If you're watching us on YouTube and you want to peruse a little further, Run
Mm-hmm.
the Jewels did a Tiny Desk concert for NPR.
Really?
That's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they it's pretty great. It's pretty great. So,
All right,
Uh,
wait. Now, is "Run the Jewels" the name of the song?
no, Run the Jewels is
Run
the
the-
name of the band.
Yep. Run the Jewels, name of the band. Run the Jewels is the band. The album is Run the Jewels 3.
Yeah.
The song is Panther Like a Panther. I think it's
Panther.
like track 7.
Yeah. Panther like
Alright.
a panther.
Mm-hmm.
But
About
If you were-
about a quarter of the way through the song, like it really gets going. It kind of builds slow, but it really gets going. It's a good one.
All right. Now, you have to excuse me. I feel like I should know this. I have my. I feel like I have a little bit of knowledge of all different kinds of music, and I've never heard.
Mhm.
Can I? Like, I want to play it, but I don't want to get us thrown off our YouTube.
off the YouTube
So
Hold on, let me. What kind of music is it?
rap.
So yeah, it's rap. It's a vocalist and a DJ.
Hmm.
And they're out of New York, I believe.
Georgia. Pretty sure Georgia.
Georgia.
Yeah,
That sounds
I
right.
think.
All
I
right.
don't know.
Killer Mike.
We
Killer
probably-
Mike was big in the. Killer Mike's one of the guys from Run the Jewels, and he was big in the Georgia, like election scene. I think Georgia. I hope I'm right.
think.
I might be wrong.
I think.
I do. I think. I try
Um,
occasionally.
The rapper Eli LP is from Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah.
The Killer Mike is from Atlanta.
Okay.
So
So we were both right.
we're both right.
Everybody's right.
Yes.
All right.
High five ourselves.
Hold on. I gotta look it up, man.
Yeah.
So if I were to go like team walk up, not individual walk up, like I'm coming out in the ice with my team, I might select some of the deep tracks, early school, Stevie Ray Vaughan, heavy instrumental.
Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
Probably from Texas Flood, something badass that's gonna like
Mhm.
tear it up.
All right. All right. Yeah, I mean, I can go all over.
Like,
I really enjoyed.
If I'm going Stevie Ray Vaughan, I gotta go. The Houses of Rockin'.
oh yeah.
That's a good one. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yep.
SRV is pretty dope. Like SRV.
All right. I'll say one more that I had, because I think that you need to have some things that are super random and obscure, just to throw the other team off
Oh,
a little bit.
Oh,
Like-
we're gonna go down that rabbit hole.
Like
I win
Smash
this.
Mouth? Like Smash Mouth?
like
Well, yeah,
Lauper?
maybe.
Cindy
I'm
Lauper.
gonna,
All right, let him
I'm
go.
gonna
Let him
play-
go. Let him go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play "I'm a Ram" by Al Green.
Wow.
I don't know if you guys know that song or not, but like, it's just kind of funky, and if you are the kind of person who I think is gonna play "I'm a Ram," like you are just sweating out confidence in every way.
That is Brownie. That is Brownie. If the other team even fucking knows who Al Green is.
Oh.
Well, I don't know that it matters. When you
Doesn't
hear
matter.
that song, you're like, "Oh my gosh, that guy's confident."
All right.
Mhm.
All right.
That's like coming out to
So-
"Sex Machine" by James Brown.
You didn't even think about James Brown.
Yes. It could happen.
I love this topic.
Mhm.
I love this topic, and I love that we're gonna ask people about it. And I just want to, like, Okay, full disclosure. Normally, when we have the show, we'll like email people. I don't know. Should we talk about it? Are we gonna put people on the spot and it's just like, all right, if you had a walk-up song curling, or are we gonna
I
give them
don't
the?
think we.
Are we gonna give them the chance to think about it?
I think we have to let them think about it because
Yeah, I agree. I
there's
think you're right.
There's a lot of
I mean-
very variables to consider.
Yeah.
1, 2.
But here's the deal. Anybody that wants to like bounce us back and like give us a great topic, a great thought of like a good walk-up song and why
Yeah.
that walk-up song
yeah.
is awesome. We'd love to hear from you. Love to hear from you.
I like it. I got one more. Everybody kind of threw a couple out. I threw
Yeah.
my one out. I got two. I'm gonna go. All right, I'm gonna go team walkout song, because everybody kind of went team walkout song. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
team walkout song. I'm gonna go like G. I'm gonna go Akadaka, the AC/DC. I'm going Thunderstruck. Like I don't
Yeah.
think there's a much better walkout song than Thunderstruck. It just like you don't need. You got a good minute of just
You're just dropping
Wail.
the broom.
yeah.
You're just dropping the broom. That's all you're doing.
We could keep going, but
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we're already going long. So
yeah. So
All right,
yeah,
we're gonna come back to this topic
yeah.
in the
We'll
future
come back to it.
for
Yeah.
sure.
email us
And-
your walk-up songs.
Yeah. Yeah. Email the
Yeah.
show your walk-up songs.
We're gonna make the best
Curlingnation at
playlist.
curlingnetwork.com. We could have a Spotify playlist.
We're gonna have a Spotify playlist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should just
Be
do it. Why not?
outstanding.
Yeah.
That's an awesome idea. Awesome cross marketing there, Mike.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. All right, dudes. Pretty good this week, I think.
We had some
Yeah.
fun.
I had fun.
Yeah, I had fun.
And that's all that counts.
Why shouldn't I not say it again? I said it a million times this weekend. All right, everybody, that's it for episode 9 of the Curling Nation podcast. And everybody is having a good time. If you want to email the show, if you want to get in touch with us, do that. We're at curlingnation at curlingnetwork.com. If you want to follow us on social media, we're all over the place. On Facebook, on Twitter, we're at Curling Nation. On Instagram, we're at The Curling Nation. If you want to give $1 or $2 to the show to make it better or whatever, who knows? We're on Patreon at Curling Nation. Otherwise, if you just want to listen to the show, we're on Apple, Spotify, Google. If you want to watch us, we're on YouTube. I think there's some other ways to catch us. You probably know how better than we do. Otherwise, thanks again to Alchemy for sponsoring the show. That's ALQIMI.com. They do lots of stuff. They sponsor curling things. Check them out. Give them a look. Otherwise, episode 10 coming up next. It'll be me, Joel, Craig, Garrett. We'll probably all be here, but for this episode, that's all we got. Good curling, everybody. Out.